And welcome back to Late Night Love. I'm Jess, she's Lovey, and here's where things get real. A boyfriend lying about the cost of a promise ring, a partner who doesn't want you going out with friends, the fear that someone will love you and leave. Oh, that someone you love will leave. Of course, it's the same thing. Confessions about intimacy, desires, and how your body reacts when things get too close. These are the questions that sit heavy on the chest and the ones we whisper, not shout. All right. And before we start on that, you can go find us at latenightLove.us. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions, etc. to love@latenightLove.us. And do us a favor, hit the like, subscribe, share, and all that good fun stuff that everybody hates talking about. So there you go. I got all that in.
There you go.
Got all that in.
Because you're a professional, dang it.
I still want to take this thing off. Okay.
No, that's why we're going fast.
Okay. Well, it's not why we're going fast, but we are going fast tonight, which is all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, my boyfriend, he's 17, she's 16, lied about how much he spent on my anniversary gift. They've been together a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I'm overreacting for being upset about it. He bought a promise ring.
Okay.
And it's apparently, she priced it, and it's around $900.
Okay.
And he said he paid $1,500 for it.
Well, it doesn't mean he didn't pay $1,500 for it.
I know.
He could have bought it at a retail store and you were getting it at an online wholesale store. Just because he's an idiot doesn't mean that he's didn't actually overpay. And then you got tax. So on a $900 item, that's another $100 in tax at least.
Mm-hmm.
So there's $1,000.
He got taken to the cleaner, sweetie. It's not that he lied to you. He's just not that.
Yeah.
He's 17.
Yeah, he may have rounded up.
Yeah.
It may have cost him $1,300, so he says $1,500.
Yeah.
Out the door cost. There may have been other stuff in the cart that he got as well. That's kind of part of the whole thing he's planning, and there could be, taxes and rounding up. I get the rounding up thing. It goes from $1,326 to $1,500, just because. There's other costs involved, man. Time to go look through all this stuff. It took me all day. I take a day off work. That's money. So. Yes, you're overreacting for being upset because it's likely not what you think it is. So, yeah, just enjoy the ring. And quite frankly, you shouldn't be expecting a 17-year-old to spend $900 on a ring.
Really?
You should actually...
Oh, she did say she was shocked. She was not expecting it.
Yeah, she should make him take it back and go off and get a $200 one.
Yeah, that's how much promise rings are supposed to cost.
I don't care what day it is. You shouldn't want him to be spending that much money.
That's bullshit.
On your ring at this point.
Sorry, honey. And you're 16. The likelihood you're going to lose it.
Yeah, or it's going to break. Just this is one of those things where the better option is to see if you can return it and get you a more appropriately priced gift.
Yes.
And be appreciative for what it means. But say, hey, look, I care about you too much to let you spend this much of your freaking hard-earned money or your parents' hard-earned money on
It's a promise ring. It's not like you've been married for 20 years and he's given you an eternity ring. Stop it.
Yeah, so set some boundaries, actually. And it might be setting, that's a... If you wanted to get cynical, right? That's a large barrier to break to keeping someone inside your sphere. Right now, you've given them this expensive $1,000 ring.
I know.
And so, if you wanted to be cynical, you could say it's actually controlling in a way. But I doubt that he's thinking that far ahead. He just has some money from something and decided to spend it on his girlfriend because young men are stupid.
Because he's 17.
Yeah, and stop that. Yeah. So. This is where you get to be the reasonable person in the thing and so take it back.
But this is why, men went off and conquered mountains, to prove.
Yeah.
We're
not. I didn't say we were smart, but we do dumb things like this. Of course, we don't know they're dumb until we're 40. And so that's the problem. Okay.
All right. I don't know what to do with my boyfriend's habit. I need advice on how to change that. When she's planning on going out with friends, he's like, oh, I guess you're going to have a good time without me. The snarky stuff like that.
Ignore it. Again, the best thing is to not give them the response they're looking for. And in this space, they're looking for any response, so don't give him anyone. He's either looking for you to get snarky back, say yes, and give some kind of smart-ass comment back as you walk out the door, creating some conflict, or he's trying to make you feel guilty for going out, and so you don't go out anymore. So your response is to simply ignore it, let it hang there. Literally, don't answer it. You don't.
Literally. Just look at him.
Don't even look at him. You just keep going out the door. You do not respond to that thing at all. Like it never was said at all. And then you actually find out what's really happening. See? So is he just being insecure? Or is he being controlling? Because those are the two different things. Someone being controlling or someone just insecure. And you're going off and, going to find somebody who's, bigger, buffer, more attractive, makes more money or whatever it is that runs through everybody's mind. Yeah. That's the insecurity. Right. And you could say controlling comes from that insecurity, but that's a different type of insecurity. So anyway, so how do you change that? You just don't worry about it.
Just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, you guys are 19, and if it becomes a thing, then it's one of those moments in your relationship where you figure out, okay, this isn't going to work long term, or it is, because he's either going to mature and learn to deal with it, or he won't. This is just one of those moments. Don't even think about it, cat. Okay.
I always feel like my boyfriend is going to leave. I don't know how to erase that feeling. She's 20.
Well, here's the thing. At 20, if you love something, sometimes you have to let them go. So if he really wants to leave, nothing you can do is
But he's not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
He's very loving.
Mm-hmm.
He tells her he loves her all the time.
Uh-huh.
Spends time with her. When is he going to cheat? She asks herself, how is it possible? He has no time. This is not logical.
Yes.
She's frustrated with herself.
That she needs to let it go. Yeah. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
The only way to get past this is to let it go. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. It's like jumping into the deep end of the swimming pool. You can't quite see the bottom. You just have to trust that it's kind of there, and you jump, right? Mm-hmm. There's some faith involved, and she's having trouble with that faith thing. Yeah. So she's afraid, and at 20, it's perfectly reasonable to be afraid. Because the reality is, likelihood is you will get hurt emotionally, right? Most relationships in their 20s, early 20s, do end.
Yeah.
At some point.
Most do.
So, but here's the thing. You will get hurt if you don't. That's the side. If you don't, there will always be this divide, and you will be almost guaranteed that your relationship will end. So the only way to make sure that you even have a chance in heck at having a successful long-term relationship is
let it go.
Is to let it go. And jump in with both feet and take the risk. There's no other way to do that. And how do you erase the feeling? Time erases that feeling. Is when you start to trust the process or accept that you have no control over the process. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. You do what you're going to do. But your fear is because you're not good enough for him. You think you're not good enough for him and blah, 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 blah. He's going to tell you everything that you are plenty good enough for him. What the hell are you talking about? You're crazy. And you're still not going to believe him because it's something deeper inside of you. You just got to let go of the feeling of you're not good enough.
For me, it was my dad leaving. It took me a long time to get over that insecure that every man is going to leave me,
Yeah. Every single person in this planet has had loss, even if it's just a pet, right?
Yeah.
Every single person has experienced that. It is one of the unifying human conditions.
Yeah.
One of the things that you just don't get out of. And so that always comes with trauma. You could argue this is probably some kind of trauma about some kind of loss she's never completely dealt with. But I just think it's human.
Okay.
I just think she's just got to commit to the bit, so to speak, and fake it till you make it. It's not quite right, but yeah.
Just don't start taking it out on him, because that's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It's not his problem. It's yours.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So now we have some intimacy questions.
Oh, but I would say this is one of those things that a therapist for a woman might actually help with, because you might figure out where this is actually coming from, rather than reality. If you know it's not reality, then where is it coming from? So there's that. Okay.
Okay. We're moving on to our intimacy questions.
Okay.
He told me where he sometimes finishes. Does this go beyond kink? His mother's underwear? I would say this is a deal breaker. I'm sorry.
That is weird, isn't it?
I'm sorry.
I wonder what Freud would say about that.
Freud would have a freaking field day.
Well, his part of the problem is probably not even his fault in the grand sense. He probably has an overly controlling mother or something, right?
Uh-huh. And this is his comeuppance.
And this is how his,
weird little brain.
This is how this teenage pubescent brain ended up dealing with it. And now it's a pattern. And so it's breaking the pattern. So, but here's the thing. You can't break the pattern unless you have somebody who's willing to walk with you through it in this particular case. Does she have to? No, it doesn't have to be your burden. But if you actually love the person, then you choose to put that burden on and walk with them through this. So the question is, where are you on this relationship? Is this just, is this not a long-term relationship? Is it not love? It was just, a thing. Okay, fine. Move on. Great. I have no problems with it. But this is a supposedly long-term committed relationship. That's a different story. You walk through someone with this problem. This is a psychological issue. This isn't a sexual issue.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a psychological issue that has become habit. And so there's two things you've got to deal with.
Okay.
You got to deal with the habit, which can be broken, but you still have to deal with the psychological issue, because otherwise it'll still feel the need to feel the habit.
Yeah.
So you've got to deal with both. Is it her duty to walk through it? No, it's not. Unless you're married and have committed long-term or in a long-term committed relationship, then you have actually committed yourself to walk through this. Haven't you?
Well,
through sickness and in health, till death do us part, and this is too much?
No. If they are
willing to deal with it.
If they are in a committed relationship. I thought it was more like dating, because they're like 23 and 24.
Yeah, again, it depends. They're at the age where it could be either.
But if they're married, no, she's got to.
This is what she doesn't necessarily have to put up with it, but
no,
she doesn't.
She does have to help him
walk through the journey, because it's not healthy,
and not tell his mother.
Yeah, this is not healthy for him, right? So it's just not mentally.
It's
healthy.
not good. It's not good for him.
Yeah. So So again, if they're in a committed relationship, she does have some moral obligation to walk with him through this.
Yeah.
But hey, not everybody can deal with everything at the same time. So I'm going to give some grace on that as well. Hey man, life ain't easy. There's no simple answers. Yeah. And this is one of those cases where there's no simple answers. How committed in the relationship are you? We talked about earlier, some people know themselves. I'm just not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to cope with it. is he willing to actually deal with whatever psychological issues he has to deal
Underlying.
with that underlie this, so he can break the
Yeah.
habit successfully?
Yeah.
These are the things.
Yeah. Okay.
These are the questions that have to be answered and have to be gone through. And
Okay.
as much as we all would like to have a simple silver bullet solution, there simply isn't one. Okay.
Okay. My loving girlfriend, but has a very low sex drive. She's 19. She's super affectionate. But when it comes down to sex, she just kind of goes through the motions.
She's a pillow princess type thing, right?
Yeah.
And now, is it because it's dirty, or is it she's lazy? You know, there's whole kinds of reasons why women who are overly affectionate when it comes to the time become a pillow princess. Sometimes it's because they don't know anything else. They simply don't know. They don't know that they can let themselves go, and they don't even know what that means. Yeah, in a sense. There's a disconnect there. And some of them just aren't that interested in that.
Just not interested.
They're interested. It's, hey, I'm perfectly happy to help my partner have a good time. I just don't care that much.
Yeah. Maybe she does have a low sex drive.
You know, and maybe it is a low sex drive. Maybe there is some physical thing going on, because at 19, generally speaking, everybody has, you know, relatively high sex drives.
Yeah.
But, you know, nothing is universal. Does it bother you or does it bother her? Is the other question.
He didn't say.
Yeah, because maybe it's bothering her, and if it's bothering her, then of course there's other options for that, right? She can talk to her doctor and see if her hormones are imbalanced, which at 19 is perfectly reasonable, especially if you're taking the pill. You know, it screws up with your hormones, and she could be taking the wrong type of pill, and a simple pill switch could solve her problem.
Yeah.
So there's a wide variety of answers, but potential answers. So it's hard to know.
Okay.
So it's just, you know, accept it for what it is, and you work through it like any relationship does, I guess. All right.
Okay, my partner says I look bored during sex. Dude, you're focused.
Yeah.
What is this a porn movie? Is people watching? You know?
Well, bored is better than the other faces people make during sex. So,
Are you in pain? You know, I want to ask sometimes. Did I do that wrong? Is that a grimace?
Yes, but not from what you think. The muscle in my back spasming. I don't want to tell you that.
Because then you just shut this whole shit down.
Yeah, because I think I pulled a muscle in my buttocks, but I'm not saying nothing yet. We'll deal with that afterwards. But you can't hide those looks from your face. So luckily, nature has created this thing where we have all kinds of goofy sex faces, and it just is what it is. It's kind of like your goofy sex face makes you look bored. I suppose be happy about it rather than it makes you look like, you know, a banshee, because that can happen too.
It can.
So I suppose be happy. It's not the worst thing we've heard of when it comes to sex faces.
Yeah.
So that's my suggestion. Take it as a win.
Tell them to fuck off.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I tell them to fuck
Don't
off.
be demanding. What are you being demanding about faces during sex? Now I got to be self-conscious about my face?
And of course, this is going to be one of those things. How was the context of the conversation also matters, right? Are you just sitting there laughing, having a good time, and that's one of the things that comes up. You know, not that they actually cared that you look bored. It was a conversation about sex faces, and oh yeah, yours is bored. You look bored, and next thing you know, someone's back at night rethinking. You know, a woman rethinking that. I look bored during sex, really, right? When really it was just no. He doesn't give a crap. Right? He's not concentrating on the look of your face. It's just something he noticed one time. And so, so you're taking it far more seriously than he is, right? It's just so all these things have again, we've gone this 1,000 times. There's no simple answer. Context counts. So I suppose you could put on a goofy Joker smile or something if you wanted to liven things up. See how that goes over it. Hey, man, a good laugh in the middle of a sex thing is not bad. You know, sometimes you have to restart, but that's all right. So you can sometimes end it with a good laugh in the middle of it, and it just never gets back to the mood. But it's worth it.
Still a good time.
Still a good time.
Yeah.
What's the point of anyway of sex, right? So it's to have a good time.
Have a good time.
It's to have a good time and to feel close to your partner and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, a good 20-minute laugh that you can't breathe well enough to do anything else is the same thing.
Some would argue that, but I agree with you.
Hey, I'm just saying.
The goal is intimacy.
Well, you're the one who thinks sneezing is like an orgasm. So, you know.
It is. It's scientific.
Yeah, I think someone's science got screwed up. Okay, what's next?
Okay, this is our last question. Oh, I get nauseous anytime I do anything too intimate. Now, if it's just low level, that's fine. But it starts getting real intense and animal, you know, and starts getting nauseous and panicky.
You don't have to swallow all of it.
Stop it.
Okay. It is. What you're dealing with is the anxiety, and then you end up with the fight or flight response, which dumps adrenaline and stuff into your system, which goes into your stomach, makes your stomach get all turbulent, and then you start feeling nauseous. So there's two ways to deal with that. A, you can pop an acid before you start the event. This way you'll still get everything else.
Zantac.
You'll still get everything else, but you won't get the upset stomach part because it'll, you know, take care of the excess stomach acid. It'll neutralize that. But the other thing to do, and this one is a much more difficult long-term solution, is to figure out why it makes you so anxious.
Losing control.
Being vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
There's 1,000 of them, right? We could say, you and I could sit here and bounce this list off of each other for the next 20 minutes. And that's the point. So again, it's a complicated thing, but you are feeling something. There is something that is triggering that.
Yeah.
And it's likely not the circumstance itself. It is it's the loss of control. There's feeling overly vulnerable. You don't really want the person to know who you are because you think you'll be rejected. Fear of rejection. There's the whole kit and caboodle. Maybe you don't really know where your limits are, and you're afraid of how far you could willing to go given the opportunities. You know, who knows? Or maybe you're naturally a Pella princess, and going anything past that is venturing into territories that you think you want to venture into, but your nature is screaming no. And then you have to decide what you want to do with that. Yeah. So, but again, it's a complicated thing. Human nature, human sexuality is complicated and quite frankly stupid at times, but it is what it is. If you think about it too much, it's goofy. So
it is goofy.
It's goofy as all hell. It's the goofiest goddamn thing. Who planned this thing? Nobody planned it, which is clearly, obviously.
Well, I have other views. I think it's God's just joke with us. You want to feel the wonderful thing? Great, but you're going to make goofy faces.
Jokes are supposed to be funny. And despite the fact that we're laughing here at the moment. You know, this stuff isn't, generically speaking, very funny. So, anyway, relationships are where we grow, stumble, and sometimes rediscover ourselves. And that's why we keep coming back to these conversations, because none of us are doing this alone. You can find us at latenightLove.us. You can send us your questions, comments, suggestions to love@latenightLove.us. And you can do us a favor and do us a like, subscribe, share thing. And so that brings us to the end of tonight's episode. If you are feeling a little seen, a little soothed, or even a little called out, that's the magic of us. We show up for each other. We sit with the hard stuff. We keep learning how to love better, even when it's messy. Until next time, take care of your heart. Take care of each other. Have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.